This is the best meet I've ever come to.
Don't upload them anywhere. Don't.
Sorry about the lift.
Really one major topic
that has been dominating.
Well, he started with hair when he filmed.
Welcome to Cloud Native Media number 9. Fantastic, and we're back here. It's September. It's been hot. What else has happened? Somebody asked me earlier if I had a joke about what's it called, reinforced aerated concrete, and I thought that's hard, but it's not hard enough, is it? See, keep coming. So we've been on holiday. Anyone? I need to stop, not trip up. Anyone been on holiday? Anyone gone on holiday? Go anywhere nice? Yeah. I think it's funny when people say, "Do you go anywhere nice?" Because like, you're not going to say, "Oh, I went somewhere awful," are you? So I went to Hull. so who's been here before? And who's new? Who's the first time? Yeah, okay. So obviously the lift's broken today. Everyone enjoyed climbing the stairs? Yeah, to be honest, that lift, I mean, I'm not sure I'd use it even when it is working. So, you know, it's a bit of an antique, isn't it? And obviously it's nice and cool in here, even though it's really hot outside. So that's a bonus. Somebody got here early and turned on all the aircon. So thank you. Hooray for whoever that was. So what do we got tonight? Oh, I should do this. We've got Jamie, who's going to talk about using a CDK with AWS Media Services. Thank you. We've got Patrick and James on Teams in the US. So we're going international. And you can talk about orchestrating media production. That should be good too. So who are we? We're an informal group of technology, media, radio, TV, audio, people doing, sharing technical business organization, practical information about putting real workflows in the cloud. What's cloud? It's computing infrastructure dynamically defined and controlled by software. That's my definition. I should put copyright notice on it, shouldn't I? What's cloud native? This is David's stuff. The next branded wave of technical advancement and doing all the things with your business to embrace the challenges and doing things differently, generally, than you did before. Because otherwise, what's the point in using a different technology? Why are we here? Collaboration. We want cloud people, we want media people, we want to come together and talk about stuff. We have a code of conduct. It's important. It's a serious thing. I will leave you to read it for a moment. Thank you very much. Organisers, the usual joke is I don't have hair, he has hair, that's how you tell us apart. So I'll try and think up a new one because that's getting a bit boring now, isn't it? Sponsors.
Hey, good to see you all again. And yeah, sorry about the lift. I've got to stand over here. Yeah, sorry about the lift. Let's see if we can get that fixed next time. So we'll be at IBC, like I'm sure many of you will be. We'll be at the meeting rooms, Hall 8, and one of the things we'll be showing this year is for our arcade product, which orchestrates cloud workflows, the ability to insert a PNG overlay for bug and logo insertion plus watermarking. There you go. Come say hello.
Hi, I'm David. I'm director of Livewire. We help companies with their cloud-native infrastructure needs. Also going to be at IBC. I think Paul's going to talk about our involvement in IBC a bit later. So yeah, I look forward to talking to you later today or potentially at IBC.
I'm from TechX. My name is Russell Trafford-Jones. We are sponsors of this community because we believe that there's a whole transition between the old-fashioned television that works really well, and as some may say is going out of fashion, but either way we need to make the same media, and we can do this differently in the cloud, and the two worlds have got a lot to learn from each other, and we're going to help bring that conversation forward.
Yeah, so you got the inevitable subscribe slide, haven't we? Yeah, so it's all about press subscribe, yeah, let's do that. Community diary, we've got a few things coming up. yeah, there's an online thing that tomorrow that sounds interesting. Next week, CITV are visiting AWS. That's a pre-IBC event that I think some of you signed up to. So we're going to be at IBC. Wow. So as David was saying, we have literally organised a can we call it piss up in a brewery at IBC. So there you go. Yeah, we've already had a lot of interest, so you know it's going to be kind of busy. So please, if you're coming to IBC, please do give us have a look at that. We've got a few other things going on. AWS on tour, PyData, Cloud Native London. We're clashing with them tonight. You know, got to clash with someone sometime. What else? So we'll probably be back on the 11th of October. Yeah, again, subject to the usual caveats of, you know, people going on strike and other things happening in the world. But, you know, hopefully we'll be back on the 11th of October and see you then. And then we've got conferences. So obviously everyone is talking about IBC. IBC is literally next week. So we have our event on the Friday night. We have, you know, all our sponsors are going to be at IBC. And if you're going to be there, anyone going to IBC? Yeah, about half the room. So you know, we'll certainly see some of you there. And then we've got a whole bunch of other things. I mean, maybe reading them all out is not quite necessary, but you can see, you know, there's a busy autumn schedule of conferences in both, you know, technology and in media. Some news. So DAZN have announced in the last few days that they have been using multicast for streaming to consumers, which is very interesting. I know there are parallel efforts going on with other organizations, but this has been announced. They're using what they call nano CDNs on subscriber devices to deliver multicast and turn it into unicast for you know, streaming apps. Not a lot of technical detail in the articles, but it's interesting that they're claiming they're saving a lot of bandwidth by doing that. What else is happening? UK-TV has launched a bunch of new FAST channels. FAST is the sort of buzz acronym of the year, isn't it? Free, what do they call it? Free ad-supported streaming TV. What we used to call commercial television, really, just delivered over the internet. Yeah, TV, really. But so UK-TV, which is owned by the BBC, has launched these new channels via Samsung and Pluto. Yeah, so CITV's gone. Wow, what end of an era. No more Knightmare. No more. We haven't had any more Knightmare for years anyway. But you know, I know a lot of people would have grown up with CITV and you know, are lamenting its loss. But you know, the kids these days are just wanting to binge. So ITV have replaced a channel with a whole bunch of content on their on-demand service instead. So moving beyond media, Electoral Commission. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. So hackers went undetected for over a year in the Electoral Commission, busy poking around in our personal data. What an absolute shambles. And then, you know, the statements they gave out sort of really revealed that they're running on-prem email. They've probably got out-of-date Exchange servers. I'm just guessing. They've got. They were saying, oh, you know, hackers were in our storage, in our servers for years. So again, you know, I guess this is where you know, using the cloud brings a lot of benefits. One of them is that you don't end up in this situation. There are other security risks, but you don't end up in this situation. So along with the police service of Northern Ireland, which I haven't made a slide about, but also, I mean, oh dear, how badly can you get it wrong? But yeah, just don't put personal data in spreadsheets. It's not hard, is it? Just don't do it.
Them to S3.
And don't put personal data in spreadsheets. Don't upload them anywhere. Don't even start. And then yeah, we've had the air traffic control meltdown. Yeah, that is me, by the way. That's me mid skydive. So they've said this morning, haven't they, that this was a 1 in 15 million event. This glitch they had at National Air Traffic Control. I mean, and their logic for that apparently was that they've been running this software for 5 years, and they've had 15 million flight plans in 5 years, and now one's made it go wrong. I think I've just seen this evening that Michael O'Leary, our friend from Ryanair, has described the report that came out today as a load of rubbish. And from what I've seen, can't disagree with that, but it'd be interesting to see the detail that will no doubt come out in the coming days, because I think what's been announced about this glitch, which wiped out everybody's flights for a day, is and then caused disruption for a week, is just it's going to run and run. We're going to see a bit more detail about that coming out. David.
To do the thing. Hello. Thank you for Cloud Native News. Here we go. Oh no! Oh, just leave that on the screen for a little while longer.
Happy accident.
He's still got hair. Well, he started with hair when he fell in a body hybrid. Anyway. So, really, one major topic
That has been dominating.
the news cycle at the moment, which is Hashicorp or Hashicorp muck-up. For those who are not aware, Hashicorp have relicensed or made a license change for a number of their core products. And so they've moved it from an open source license, which is the Mozilla public license v2, to the business source license, which is a source available license. And let's be clear, it's not an open source license, it's a source available license. This is in response to them saying that other vendors who take advantage of pure OSS models and the community work on OSS projects for their own commercial goals without providing material contributions back are the reason why we're doing this. Right? So what does this actually mean? Well, what it means is that they're saying going forward for new versions of popular software like Terraform and Vault, that the license is going to change for certain organizations that make use for it. So to be clear, there's no impact on end users using these products for internal or personal usage. For partners that are building integrations with their products, including Terraform providers, plugins, and other integrations, there's no change. So for instance, if you have an API that you want customers to consume using Terraform and you're building a provider, it's fine. If you've built your own custom Vault plugin to interact with your internal systems, it's fine. But organizations providing competitive offerings to Hashicorp will no longer be permitted to use the community edition of products free of charge under the BSL license. And the key word there is competitive. And so who gets to define competitive? Hashicorp gets to define who a competitor is. And at the moment, they're saying a competitive offering is a product that is sold to third parties, including through paid support arrangements that significantly overlap the capabilities of a Hashicorp commercial product. So if you're using a Hashicorp product to provide a service similar to a Hashicorp product, you will fall foul of this and you can't use it. The big issue is that it's really a smack in the face to a lot of people in the OSS community. That's how it's been received. It's been received as slightly rich, where you have a company that has built a very good reputation in the open source community, has built a lot of community engagement, has built a wide selections of plugins and community involved code and documentation and involvement, is now turning around and saying, door closed. So one thing I found kind of interesting was you put these two things together as a new form of vulnerability management for their business. So a statement in their pre-IPO filing and a number of filings afterwards they made clear was, because of the permissive rights accorded to third parties under our open source and source available licenses, there are limited technological barriers to entry in the markets in which we compete, and it is, and may continue to be, relatively easy for competitors, including public cloud operators, to enter our markets and compete with us. So in some ways, people are saying this is closing the door, not in the open source community, it's closing the door on certain public cloud operators who have in the past took open source software and provided it as their own service. Now, we're not naming names, AWS, but it has happened. And so they're trying to position this as a just closing the door on that avenue. But there are a number of software as a service providers who use Hashicorp products. Now, they're not necessarily looking to compete with Hashicorp, but they are in the same space. They may be working in a very niche specialist area, but they are still providing Hashicorp services as just natively with the infrastructure they're providing. They may provide a Vault API as part of their SaaS offering. They may provide access to a Terraform, like a code base, say, put your Terraform here and we'll build something for you. And Hashicorp can come along and say, you're a competitor, you can't do that. So what's happening in return? So we have a new foundation. So the community responded to this, and they've created the OpenTF Foundation. So this is open source license, community supported. It's looking to be a drop-in binary replacement for Terraform. We'll work with all providers and plugins. Now, hands up, who remembers Hudson? Gonna age the, oh, okay, one. Really, no one remembers Hudson? Wow, okay. Who knows Jenkins? Right, well, Hudson was the predecessor of Jenkins. So Hudson is what was Jenkins before. And Hudson was the be-all and end-all in the early days of CI management. It was built in Sun. Glorious community support. Lots of lovely community efforts going on with it. Really was the de facto for CI work or cron work or any sort of automation work. Then Oracle came along and tried to license the name and start bringing in the owning the infrastructure, basically taking more of an advanced ownership over the work. And the community was like, don't like that. We're going to fork this. I said fork this, and we're gonna go over and we're gonna create Jenkins. And then within quite quick succession, Hudson died, and Jenkins continued and carried on. So I'd be very interested to see if we're in a similar situation with OpenTF and Terraform. I'm not quite convinced, because I don't think it's quite the same sort of sweeping license change. It doesn't affect as many people. But I'd be very interested to see what community support happens behind OpenTF. Yeah. Anyway, I think that's the big news for the week. I'll hand back to Paul.
Thank you.
Press subscribe
Now, so what are we ready to go with our talks? And so we got Jamie with his thing. If you want to get set up, Jamie.
Go on, Stuart Lee, do another one.
If only, yeah. Here we go.